The story The Flame of Courage opens with a reflection on the universal themes of bravery and revenge in human life. Across cultures and centuries, men and women have been forced to confront pain, injustice, and the cruelty of enemies, and in those moments their courage becomes the only weapon that sustains them. The tale introduces us to a peaceful village surrounded by fertile fields, where life is built on trust, family bonds, and shared values of honor and kindness. In this village, a young hero grows under the gentle guidance of his parents, learning compassion from his mother and discipline from his father. His days are filled with laughter, festivals, and the innocence of youth, but also with lessons about integrity, responsibility, and loyalty to one's people. This environment shapes his identity and lays the foundation for the courage that will later define his life. The beauty of the beginning lies in the warmth of love and simplicity, which makes the tragedy that follows even more devastating. The story takes a dark turn when the peace of the village is shattered by a brutal attack. A merciless enemy descends with fire and steel, slaughtering the innocent and reducing the once flourishing land to ashes. The hero watches helplessly as his family is torn apart before his eyes, parents slain, siblings lost, and the sanctuary of his childhood burned to the ground. This tragedy not only destroys his home, but also carves deep wounds into his soul, leaving scars that will fuel his journey for years to come. The once joyful youth is now faced with grief, rage, and the unbearable emptiness of loss. Yet within this darkness, a spark of defiance ignites. The destruction of everything he held dear does not break him completely. Rather, it gives birth to a new purpose. The tragedy becomes the crucible in which his destiny is forged. Standing amidst the ruins, the young survivor makes an unshakable vow. He will not rest until he avenges his family and frees the oppressed from the tyranny of the invaders. His emotional struggle is fierce, between despair that tempts him to surrender and the inner fire that drives him toward vengeance. Determined, he sets out on a long journey of training. Along the way, he meets wise mentors and seasoned warriors who see in him both the pain of loss and the potential of greatness. They teach him the art of combat, the discipline of strategy, and the deeper lessons of patience, resilience, and self-control. Over years of struggle, the boy of the village transforms into a man of steel. His body is hardened, his mind sharpened, and his spirit unyielding. The journey of training is not merely about learning to wield a sword, but about discovering the strength within to bear pain, control rage, and use courage as a weapon. With his newfound strength, the hero begins his first acts of bravery. At first, they're small but meaningful, saving travelers from bandits, liberating villages from enemy patrols, and standing as a shield for the weak. These deeds inspire others, and word of his courage begins to spread. Yet even as hope flickers among the oppressed, the enemy does not remain idle. The villain, a ruthless warlord who thrives on fear, grows more powerful. He expands his armies, spreads terror across the land, and silences all resistance with iron and fire. His cruelty knows no bounds, innocents are enslaved, and villages are crushed under his rule. The clash between rising hope and deepening tyranny set the stage for the inevitable confrontation. It becomes clear that the hero's strength is not just his own, but also the strength of all those who believe in him, and that the fate of many rests on his shoulders. At last, the hero returns to his homeland, not as the grieving boy who once lost everything, but as a leader forged by suffering and perseverance. He unites scattered tribes, rallies broken communities, and gives them the courage to resist. The people long crushed by despair find in him a beacon of hope, and together they prepare for the greatest battle of their lives. The battlefield becomes the arena where every lesson, every scar, and every ounce of bravery is tested. Strategies clash, sacrifices are made, and countless lives are lost in the storm of war. At the heart of the conflict stands the duel between the hero and the villain, the moment where years of grief and rage come to a head. In a final clash of steel and spirit, the hero strikes down his enemy, fulfilling his vow of revenge and restoring justice to the land. Yet the story does not end merely in victory. It ends in reflection, showing that true courage is not just about vengeance, but about sacrifice, resilience, and the will to fight for something greater than oneself. The Flame of Courage closes as both a tale of personal revenge and a timeless lesson about the power of bravery to reshape destiny.